Alright, on this week's edition of Junkyarding with Torythefanman, I figured we would come here and look at some old forgotten junk, I guess. Like this thing. It's pretty cool, actually. It's like a really short bed tow truck. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's an old Chevy. It's pretty cool. But anyway, over here you got Panther body cars, Ford Escorts, Mustangs. This is a Mustang, Fox body Mustang, obviously. And right next to that is a Mercury Capri. This was basically the Mercury version of the Mustang. It wasn't very long-lived, but as you can tell, they had like the bubble back, hatchback kind of design here, which may or may not open. I don't think it's gonna open. But anyway, interior's worse for wear, but it is what it is. The door's been out of shape. And what's interesting about these Fox bodies and a bunch of other Fords from this time frame is these wheels are made out of rubber. It's kind of weird. Someone obviously got mad and put a fucking knife through the thing. And over here you got the Pinto based stuff. You actually have a Pinto, but it's not a Pinto. It's a Mercury Bobcat. There's two of them here. This is the Mercury version of the Ford Pinto. Holy crap, those struts still work. But yeah, it's the Mercury Bobcat. Not something you see much of it anymore, or ever. Have this wagon version here. And then you have a Ford Maverick. Some SN95s. But yeah, these are kind of the more interesting stuff. Another convertible Fox body. I want to get into this, but there's water there, so I don't know. This is the Mustang 2, which was based off of the Pinto. Same thing, except more. This is the Mustang that everybody hated before the Mach-E came out. And I mean, probably some people still hate these, but it is what it is. Yeah. I'll get back with you when I find something else some more interesting stuff. Got some Ford Tempos over there. Alright, I figured this was worthy of a quick little video. Here we have a Buick Riata. This was a short-lived little roadster coupe thing that Buick made in the late 80s, early 90s. I think the ended production in like 91, 92. Yeah, these are pretty neat little cars. They have a very almost UFO looking kind of shape to them. But yeah. Now the earlier versions of this car had the Vic like navigation type looking. It was a touchscreen radio. This one has the tape radio, obviously. Glove box is missing. Actually, it's right here. Here's your headlights. Had this little pass-through. It was only a two-seater car, which was what made this kind of interesting. This one does have the digital cluster, however. It's an automatic. Has the visors still. I mean, this car was mostly intact. I don't know why it got put in here, but probably someone's project they gave up on. And you got your window switches. You got your tilt for the seat. Everything over here has the same door mechanisms as my car does. You get the handle. And yeah, these were pretty cool little cars for what they were. Had this kind of like light bar kind of tail light on them. The trunk was actually not a hatch, but yeah, they did have a convertible version, which basically got rid of the top pretty much. I mean, obviously it's a convertible, but from like the windshield back, all this was all soft top. Personally, I like the coupes better. I think they look nicer. But under the hood, you would have had the 3800 V6, which obviously this one no longer has. But you can read the sticker there. But yeah, I figured this was worthy of a video solely on the fact that these are not that common. Okay, I got what I came here for, technically. Front plate bracket for an Oldsmobile 98, which is what this car is right here. This one's a year older than my car, but it's identical otherwise. It's the earlier body style of it. This is the interior. I like this blue a lot better than the tan, personally, but here's like a build sheet or something in here. And the digital climate control, which I may or may not take. But yeah, there's the inside. You got 136,000 miles on this one. Oh, not easy to get in and out of that. Over here you got a Cutless Sierra. These were cars that were everywhere when I was a kid. I always liked these. Probably one of my favorite Oldsmobiles. The interior is obviously worse for wear, but this one impressed me. It's got 234,000 miles. I mean, I've seen them with more, but that's pretty impressive. It's like the only one left back here, though. Lots of Oldsmobiles. Now you know why I come here. This is the 98. This is the newer version of the 98. See what they did? They changed the front ends. And there's another one right there. And then there's an old Cutless Supreme from the 80s. The plate is from 1999. This thing's been off the road for quite a while. There's a Bonneville. It's a really old 70s, either Pontiac or Oldsmobile, one of the two. And you got an Oldsmobile Achieva. You don't see these hardly ever anymore. I test drove one of these when I was looking for a car. I actually really liked it. Had the 2.4 liter quad 4 based engine. This one's obviously got the upgraded mold seats. The newer Cutless Supreme is another Achieva, 88. In fact, there's another 88 that I actually drove at the car lot years ago. It ended up here. The old Cutless Sierra. An Alero. Some people like these, some people don't. I think they're alright. Personally, I like the Achieva a little more, though. Just think the Achieva was more interesting looking. Yeah, see if we can get over here to this stuff. I'd like to look at some of it. See, the thing about owning an old car, you gotta go to places like this, which I honestly enjoy doing. Here we have looks like a late 80s Cutless Sierra. It's missing the whole front. I don't know if I can make it through all this or not. And this one had the red dot 3.8, which it's the same basic engine as the 3800, but it's a little different. Looks like someone's gotten a lot of parts off of this one. I still got the distributor there. Well, what's left of the distributor. It was a Broham. Wow, this is actually pretty nice. It smells like old people. I mean, what do you really expect? This one, 62,000, probably at least 162,000. I like that. The steering wheel's nice. This car is pretty nice. Yeah. You left your headlights on. Let's get the cruise control on the stock. Actually could use that for my car because mine's all worn out right there. But GM actually used the same steering column on a lot of different cars, so all this stuff is pretty much identical for most cars. It is. Doesn't have a key in it anymore. There's the bench seat. Would be cool if this still had the book with it, but it does not. It's got a cracked steering wheel. Pretty cool. Quite the time capsule. It had a plate on the back of it. I can't really get to it. Oh boy, let's not fall in the water. It expired in 2005. So it's been off the road for a long time. Here's the key to it. Almost 20 years. This is not the original GM key, but it's a key. Starter up. Yeah. Whee! I don't know. But yeah. The Oldmobile Cutless Sierra. Probably one of my favorite cars. From the 80s and early 90s. And there's an old Fiero. Two old Fieros. There's actually two more way over there. I mean, these are pretty cool too. These are rear engine cars. Or, I think these are technically mid-engine cars. There's two of them here. I don't know if I can open this one up. Nope. Another Olds 98 like mine. This one's obviously seen better days. Pontiac Sunbird. Another Alero. A Chevy Tracker. This really old, I think this is an Oldsmobile Omega. That's pretty cool. The Tornado Trofeo back there. Let's try and get through here without falling in water. Easier said than done. There's an Oldsmobile Intrigue. This Tornado Trofeo is pretty cool. But I was never able to get into it because it's just kind of wedged in here. Hard to get into. But here we have a 91 Oldsmobile 88. This was actually a car I test drove way back in the day. Before I bought my Buick Century, I actually thought about buying this thing. Had the leather seats. 119,000 miles. Had all the digital stuff. This thing was actually pretty cool. It has the coin slot thing there. I wonder if these Oldsmobile caps would fit those Buick wheels I have. If they do, I might take them. I'll have to come back for that later. So, yeah. Some people may remember the video I did on this car. Oldsmobile. And there's this Intrigue, which I was never really a huge fan of these, but some people are. Another Cutless Supreme from the 80s, maybe 70s by the looks of it. This looks like the Chicago Cutlass. And we got this side of the 88. But yeah, I gotta go find my stuff. It's way back over there. You ever get lost in the parking lot? All the time. Now here's an Omega. I like this one. This one's cool. I like the sedan more than the coupe. That's me personally. I would like to have this, but it's so torn up. It's just not worth it. It's really cool though. But anyway, Jeeps. Okay, I found some really cool stuff back here. Starting off with this Ford Pinto. It's like a wagon, but a panel wagon. I've never seen a Pinto panel wagon. It's pretty neat. And next to it, you got this old boat. I don't know what this is. Maybe an Impala. I think it's an Impala. Maybe not. I don't know what it is. You got another old. I think that's a Chevy. Not a Gran Torino. What is that called? That's called the Ranchero. Ford Ranchero. That's what that is. And over here you got a Dodge Rampage. When's the last time you seen one of these? This big antenna though. Like, oh, it doesn't say. It says August. Got the Rampage badge. This thing's almost pretty complete. And it won't open. Now I remember this sitting up front at one point, but they moved it back here, I guess. I like this Rampage. This is really cool. I like these weird 80s K-car variants. Oh wow, that interior is nuts. That is sweet. I like this. That's it. I like this. This is cool. Dodge Rampage. Gotta love it. Then you got, looks like a Chevy Impala next to another Impala next to another Rampage. Whatever this is. Chevy Biscayne, whatever. Whatever you want to call it. And I think that's all the old stuff. Is that an old Thunderbird? Oh, they didn't scrap the Thunderbird at least. That's good news. And then you got Jeep Hell. But yeah, figured I'd show this off real quick.